Okay, outnumbered overtime. OT, baby. Still dialing it back, kind of getting over the allergies thing. And Julie, I hope that I haven't like spread whatever it is.
I think you gave me the Kavork. I think I'm chugging really cold tea from the 5 mug, which, by the way, cross promotion.
Well, you know what? I mean, we're sister property.
I know, right?
Right.
So because I'm kind of worried.
Yeah, I have my tea the whole time, my honey. And so sorry, guys.
Aw.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know you thought I was trying to sound sexy.
No worse for the wear, Harris. You did it very well.
Well, thank you. We got into some deep discussions. I'd never seen you get as passionate.
I
as
know.
It's because I'm here today.
Oh,
I know you
Sorry
scared me.
about that.
You were like, "Can I interrupt you?"
I was like, "Whoa!
Did I interrupt
What did I
too?
say? What did I
You're
say?
so polite.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
No,
It was
not.
good. It was a good discussion.
Somebody on Twitter asked me if Emac and I liked each other after that exchange, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "Emac's my favorite."
Yeah, we love each other.
Her. We love
So
One big family.
I do want to talk to you a little bit, though, before we go to Facebook Live, which a lot of people are joining us on now because that's a new thing, and our page, our chat. In just a second, I'll pull it up. But on the economy, you know, everybody's talking about the 18,000 point on the Dow today and how important that is. People are not feeling that at all. And I know it's like a broken record. They hear us say this, but we have proof now. What is it?
Well, meaning why is the Dow hitting 18,000?
No, why are people saying that they don't feel?
Oh, but they
any
don't
of
feel
that
it because this has been an economy where we've created low-paying services jobs, and you know they're respectable jobs, but they don't pay like manufacturing
does.
does.
It a businessy. Anemic economy? Or
yes, it is.
Like that?
And so, you see the torrent, and it is a torrent of regulations and taxes. And the Republicans aren't just saying that for no reason. It's been happening for the last 8 years. So, you know, we always talk about the minimum wage fight, how, you know, we should raise the minimum wage. Yeah, I'm all for that. But families should not be raising their children, on a minimum wage. That's the Obama economy. That's what people have resorted to. That's an indication of how bad this economy has performed under President Barack Obama.
Is there another way we can put it? Because whenever I hear people say, oh, you know, we become a nation of burger flippers. Well, some of my finest family members have flipped burgers and gone on to management and to learn great skills.
Right, which is what those jobs should be. Well, that's what they are. They're stepping stones.
Oh, I see.
They're the lowest rung on the low rung on the ladder. You move up. But people are having trouble moving up because those manufacturing jobs have been vaporized.
You know, why doesn't, Liz, I want to ask you, when it comes to messaging, when you poll people about what the issues are that they care about, year after year, you get the economy as number one. And year after year, Republicans go out and they try to win presidential elections talking about the economy, and they fail flat across the board. You saw Mitt Romney. You saw John McCain talk about the economy. I mean, you see Donald Trump, who has been successful in business struggling.
Right.
What can they do?
I'll put it this way. The U.S. economy was growing fine under the Eisenhower years, right? People are like, oh, it's government spending. The government was only 6% of GDP back then. Now it's 18%, 20%. I have friends in Venezuela where socialism is collapsing. Basically, the small businessmen and women down there have turned to the black market, dealing in toilet paper and paper towels out of their houses.
Black market?
Yeah. So what's happening is they keep saying to us in the North, you know, you're always about bigger government. We were like that too. All of a sudden, the government was on our back doorstep, and we couldn't get it back. Why did we let that happen? Because the government did everything for us. And Bernie Sanders will go on and on about, oh, the Danish model, the Swedish model of socialism. The Danish prime minister just told Harvard, Bernie Sanders, knock it off. We are a market-based economy. We're not the socialist economy that you keep talking about. But you're right, Jedediah, that message doesn't get out. Because people say, what can the government do for me when they go into the ballot booth?
Well, it's also that, especially in the case of Romney in 2012, the argument is made very antiseptically. It's made about statistics and indicators and trends. It's not made about why does it matter for you. And the reason people feel the suffering, despite the stock market doing well, is that real wages have not gone up since the year 2000. We have the same median income.
It's actually at 96 levels.
Exactly. So people aren't actually making the money or getting the increase in their salary that they need to sustain their livelihood or improve their livelihood, let alone. We have the same median income that we did when Barack Obama began his presidency. So that hasn't even gone up. And Gerald Seib wrote a great column in the Wall Street Journal last week that said basically both parties have totally missed this. You know, we live in this world of kind of echo chamber, market's doing great, you know, people are living the high life, you know, we've recovered from 08. That's not really what the average American, to your point earlier, Harris, on Main Street feels. Right. And that economic uncertainty, that distress in their everyday life has made them hate the system, hate the established order. And that's why you see a candidacy that's so outside the mainstream, like Bernie Sanders on the left and Donald Trump on the right, really resonate because their whole idea is disruption.
And I think you're absolutely right, because ultimately what you've had on both sides of the aisle are people in D.C. who live in a bubble. Listen, I work down there, you work down there, you
exactly.
know it. Live in a bubble thinking that everything's okay because they have their poll-driven message gurus come in and tell them how to frame the issue as opposed to going
and they live in a big boom town. D.C. is a boom town.
Exactly.
Per capita income in D.C. is higher than Silicon Valley.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't get, as you rightly pointed out, that people like Donald Trump, listen, to give Donald Trump credit where credit is due, he blew up the system in ways that I think both major parties should benefit from. And I will say this, if Hillary Clinton does not get elected, I think she will, but if she doesn't get elected in November, the Democrats are going to be facing exactly what the Republicans are facing now. The only reason they haven't is because there's a Democratic president and the head of the party. But this country is ripe for a, and I mean revolution, not in the Bernie Sanders sort of revolution way, but ripe for an explosion of people who, as Enoch pointed out, are furious and they're ready to blow for that precise reason, because their politicians keep telling them everything's okay or keep giving them platitudes about how it's going to get better.
Right.
And it doesn't.
And it doesn't. Yeah. All right. So during the show, one of the things that, during the TV version of us, one of the things that got a lot of social media activity and people were jumping on our live chat, and I promised to read this. Handyman Jim, I'm sure that's your real name. Like I said, Trump fights for what is right. Be it a judge or another country, he fights for what is right. I put on the live chat, should Donald Trump drop the judge fight, or does it show that Trump is a fighter for whatever is right, period? What are your thoughts?
The fight isn't the problem. There have been political arguments made against the partiality of a judge for decades. The Democrats thought that basically the Supreme Court was all biased because it was Republican in 2000 when they gave, in their minds, the election to George W. Bush. You could criticize a judge all you want. You could say they're partisan. You could say they have an agenda. I think the discomfort here is focusing on the ethnicity of the judge and somehow suggesting that that is what's driving their opposition to you because you hold a contrary view to them on immigration in this case. So the point I was trying to make in the live version of the show, which is tough to make because this is an ugly issue. I'm very uncomfortable talking about it. I'll be very honest with you for a ton of reasons. But the point is, Donald Trump can say certain things and he can get away with it, and he does have this kind of force of personality that allows him to do so. All these surrogates he wants to say the same thing and back him up don't have the same benefit. And there's a whole set of others, like Paul Ryan and Marco Rubio, who fundamentally disagree with what he's saying. So he has to find a way to quickly move away from this conversation and, to your point, Harris, refocus on his very good rationale for why he can make America great again.
Well, but I have to, I'd go back to this. He didn't just go after him on ethnicity. He said he's not partial. He can't be impartial because he's an Obama appointee. Listen, Donald Trump's sister, Marion Trump Berry, who is an incredibly esteemed judge in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, which I think is based down in Philly, but she is a jurist who's respected on both sides. She was a presidential appointee, as they all are. I believe a Republican appointee.
Well, but that's inside the bounds to criticize a judge on, right?
I don't think
that's different than this issue.
As an appointee, to some extent, but listen, at some point we have to say, and I'm not saying that there aren't unbiased judges, there are, but at some point you have to say, look, this goes to the very core of our jurisprudence. This is how we appoint judges. And if we don't think that judges can honestly call balls and strikes, unless there's a real reason in their record to show that they can't. Don't forget, he's mad at this judge for releasing the Trump University transcripts. I mean, that's all or the playbook. That's all he's
Is that really it, or does he just want to win this case? Because he could have, and he has said he could have settled this. He chose to fight this. So again, I go back to the core issue that this viewer is making, because all this other stuff is going to get worked out among the attorneys. I mean, I know that we're hot talking on the topic right now, but the minute that Donald Trump decides to segue, he can pick up on the economy. He's got a lot of meat from the left that he can work with. And with Bill Clinton coming on the stump, getting ready to, not Bill Clinton, he better endorse his wife, Barack Obama, president, getting ready to endorse Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump will have a lot to work with here. But aside from all of that, it comes back to the issue. Is this how people want to see him? Is this an example of this? Or is it more important that he showed that he can fight for other things?
I think it's the second part of your point. And both you and Emac made this point during the show, which is he needs to start talking about the issues that matter to everybody, not just the issues that seem, to what you said, self-serving. And I anticipate he will. By the way, Donald Trump has an amazing ability. I know Julie's going to disagree with me for a second, but to self-correct. He really does. It's almost impressive how nimble he is.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all.
With tactics.
But we don't exist, I think, Americans don't exist in a bubble. And when he says these things, the world hears us. So if this guy manages to get elected, how is the world viewing us? I mean, it just looks to me like a guy who doesn't really want to win, or he wouldn't be doing this.
Do you think the world views us strong now?
I don't think they view us strongly because I don't think Barack Obama has been a leader. But I think you can be a leader and not insult people and not say ridiculous things about people's ethnicity. I mean, people are confusing strength with idiocy. And you can be strong, you can come out and be a strong leader and still not offend people unnecessarily. It's not a sign of weakness to not offend people. It's a sign that, A, you want to get elected, B, you're smart, and C, you don't have these preconceived notions about people.
So I have to ask you, because I've heard you talk lovingly about the Republican Party. You want to see the unity. Will you vote for this candidate?
I've long said that I'm probably going to do a write-in, actually. And I don't know who it's going to be for. I might vote for Gary Johnson. I might vote for Rand Paul. But I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. And I see two candidates that are incredibly flawed in ways that make me uncomfortable right now.
Meaning
that's where I stand. Hillary and Donald Trump, frankly. Stuff like this that we've been talking about with the judge, that's unacceptable to me.
All right, to FAC, who said our color wheel is on fleek today. Thank you very much.
Nice.
I worked so hard.
FAC's always nice.
You're like, pat yourself on the back.
Raise the
Wow. I know, right?